Evening, everyone. It's 6:15 almost, and it's Thursday night. I just want to give you a closing comment. It's video number 815, and there will be no daily note tonight, so I may cover some stocks in it also. Okay, so the news of the morning was, as you know, claims. Initial claims up 37,000 to 412, and last week's was also revised up. Continuing claims up 1,000 at 3,518,000. So nothing overwhelming. The leading economic indicators, LEI, was exactly in line with what was expected, 1.3 versus 1.3 estimate versus 1.3 last month. So that was pretty much the way it broke down. The futures, which had been down last night as much as about 200, had made it all the way back up. And in fact, after down 40 or so open in the Dow, we actually went positive. And then the wheels came off. The market was down as much as about 420, but it closed down only 210. That might have felt good, might have looked good, but it's been down every day this week, and today's 0.6% just added to that. And the internals were 1.9 to 1 down. Over on the NASDAQ, the internals were only 1.3 to 1 down, but the NASDAQ was actually up on the day 121, or just under 0.9%. The volume in the overall market was about the same as yesterday, so nothing overwhelming. The S&P was down $1.84. The big disappointment to me today was the Russell down 1.2%, down 27.23, and after yesterday's bounce and this morning's higher open, I kind of thought we'd, if not be up on the day, certainly not be down 1.2%. And again, the big loser was the Dow Jones Transports, down 318.65, or 2.1%. What was interesting, or what I found interesting, was the fact that the VIX was also down. You don't usually see all of these markets down like this and see the VIX lower. It actually closed 17.75, and that was down 40 cents. The long bond, which yesterday was as high as about 158, closed today about 151, and the bonds were up almost 2 points. 1 in 29.30, I believe, was the number. So that's about as close to up 2 points as you can get. The dollar was up 66 cents again. And the chart on the screen is the gold. I told you yesterday that this close up here at 1861 was wrong, and clearly it was. And we went right through that this morning and got down as low as 1767. Now, what's interesting about this, and it's about unchanged right now, up about $2. But what's interesting about this is that we've broken through all of these moving averages. And as most of you already know, I much more favored the upside of the silver. And I want to show you the difference. The silver was down hard today, same situation, except that this chart has support all across here. It also hit its 200-day moving average. Remember, I just showed you the moving averages, and on the basis of those and the move in the gold, you would expect to see us down here. We're not. We're still at support. We're still at the 200-day. I mean, it's not a great chart, but relative to gold, it is a great chart. Okay, so the MEGACAP stocks and the health stocks and infotech stocks were all up today. The real weakness was in the financials, the materials, the industrials, and of course, the energy. Not a real surprise in the energy. The oil was down $1.11. And here's what that looked like. It got down as low as just under 70. So this is the first day in 16 that we didn't make a new higher high. 16 days in a row, 15 days in a row. These are all still fading to the upside. We're still above all of the moving averages. Actually, it looks like we closed just under the 5-day, but as you can see, they're still all definitely leaning forward and to the upside. In news, we had Danaher. Danaher is a company that has been built by acquisition. It has been very inquisitive over the years, and they are now buying a bio company called Aldebaran for $9.6 billion. And everybody likes the deal, I guess. The stock closed 257.08, up 12.34, or 5% on that news. And evidently they have the money because they're going to use cash on hand and commercial paper. Commercial paper is very short term, so pretty much that is a cash deal. Kroger, which this morning, I told you yesterday, beat both top and bottom line, and it was trading between 37 and 38. Well, it picked up later on in the day today and hit 39.62, closed 39.12, up $1.57 or 4.2. CureVac, which this morning was 51.5. This is the company that came out and said that their efficacy rate on their vaccine was 47% compared to the much bigger numbers we've been seeing. And it was 51.5, and that was down 46. It managed to rally up and close pretty close to the high at 57.40, still down almost $38 or 40%. The Aon and Willis Towers Watson deal, I told you this morning that AON was trading around 244 and that Willis was trading at 238. Well, they continued lower. Aon went from that 244 area, closed 234.01, down 10.09. And Willis, which had a low this morning of about 234 and was trading about 238, fell further all the way to 231 and closed 233.45, down 22. Lennar was kind of wishy-washy this morning, trading up a half a buck or so at 92.50. It got some legs this afternoon and rallied up to 94.65, closing up 3.31 on the day. And after the close, Adobe beat both top and bottom. It had closed pretty close to a new high anyway at 551, but is currently trading 564.81, up 23.55 or 4%. And I'm sure that that'll get a little bit of action tomorrow again. So the entire Fast Money show tonight was talking about all of the meme stocks, and they had two of the guys on who are on Reddit, very active, and some of the things they ran, the bottom crawl, instead of it showing stock prices, they had all of these comments from the Reddit forum, and they are ludicrous. They're unbelievable. There are people talking about, with no factual basis at all, talking about how these stocks are, this is a consolidation, and this stock, the numbers that they're throwing out there are really ludicrous. And I'll give you an example. There are people buying and recommending the AMC July, 145 calls. Let's take a quick look at AMC. The chart looks great. It's 60. Next month's 145s, and they're paying almost $7 for them. So in order to just break even on this stock would have to be 152. I mean, I'm looking at the chart. It is bullish. It's also overbought. The MACDs are also very extended. The Bollinger Bands don't really come into play because there's so much volatility that they've expanded out tremendously. I mean, the top Bollinger Band here is at 72 and 72.60, and the lower one is at $4.98. So that's a useless statistic and a useless tool in something like this. But let's go to another one. Workhorse. I like this one too. I think that the chart is kind of interesting. It did come down from, this $43 area. It has spent the last 3.5 months consolidating, and it has started up. There are people who are buying the Workhorse 16s. Stock is $14.89, which is not bad. They're buying the 16s that expire tomorrow. And I can understand that people would pay 8 or 9 cents, which is where they are. My question is, what are the guys doing who paid 38 cents for them yesterday with the stock in basically the same place? People are definitely getting hurt here. And the ones who are making the most money and the ones who are speaking in the loudest voices are really solid cheerleaders. But again, there is going to be plenty of pain here, and there already has. Let's remember that GME traded over 500, and even with the rally that it's had here, it's still only 222. So, not so overwhelming. So the list that they discussed today were, and this was Pete Nigerian, who goes specifically on the options volume, and he is out of the AMC, but AMC still traded 1.9 million options. That represents 19 million shares. So that's a pretty big number. But he went through the list, and stocks that have short positions that have also seen big increases in options purchases: Macy's, the aforementioned Workhorse, the aforementioned AMC, Clover Health, which everybody has seen. Clover's been an interesting one. A week ago, it was $28.85, currently selling for $12. So you can't tell me that nobody got hurt there. And BlackBerry, which is really an interesting company. I mean, I actually like this chart. I mentioned it in the Discord room yesterday or the day before, not because I liked it and was recommending buying it, but somebody showed me a chart of something else, and it looked just like this, which is a flag that very often resolves to the upside. The stock still is relatively overbought. MACD peaked and is turning down. Bollinger Bands are of no value since they're at $17.88 and $7. So, right here in the middle at 14 doesn't really help you. But I will say this company with a big short position, they're no longer in the phone business, but they do own encryption software that is used by governments. I mean, this is a company who I actually, when they discontinued their phone business and the stock moved down pretty dramatically. I mean, right here we've gone from 12 and change to 2 and change. I was always surprised that nobody in a government or an agency bought this. But you can see, I mean, it blew off to the upside, it consolidated, it has worked higher. This is the weekly chart, not the daily. But you can see where this has some potential. But to watch it on this Reddit board or Wall Street Bets, I mean, the things that people say there have no bearing in reality. Sort of like buying AMC 145 calls, 250% out of the money. And a $7 option is a pretty expensive option. And it will depreciate as time goes by if the stock just doesn't move. So that's where we are tonight, folks. Again, there'll be no daily note tonight because I have an appointment shortly. But we I did an extended version here. I hope everybody is satisfied with it. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll be back first thing in the morning.